Robin, we're going to be talking today about people that lose their mates, and maybe they could even lose them at an earlier age. It doesn't have to be an elderly person. In fact,
Right.
we've had some people here.
Doing 20s and 30s. I've had some of my ladies.
Absolutely,
Yes.
they've lost their spouse. So, what do you do when you're at a church and you really think enough time has passed or whatever, and you really have a desire to remarry? And you look around and you see couples sitting together, couples talking together. You go to the restaurant, you see couples from the church sitting together, and there you are, single.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you feel like that? I think that's an honest question. I think it's a good question to ask, and I think it's one that we probably need to address. So there's some issues that we're going to try to walk through. We may or may not finish this video today. If not, we'll do a second part. But here's the first thing. Robin, why don't you talk about loneliness?
Well, you need to, even though you are really lonely, don't let it lower your standards. Don't settle for anyone. Sometimes after you've had, it's been a long time, you were disappointed, you're alone, you're divorced, or you're widowed, just heartbreak. And so they think you're asking too much. No, you are not. You need to.
Yeah, I think wanting a godly man or a godly woman, whatever the case may be, is not asking too much. I think that God expects us to ask Him for that, and we ask Him for direction and guidance so that we'll find the right person when it's time. But wanting to have a man or a woman that honors God alongside you, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And you may or may not have had that at all in your first marriage, whether it's ended through divorce or death or some other way. It's possible that you've never known that. So pray for that is one thing that you can do. There are a lot of people who are not looking for a covenant anymore. They're looking for convenience.
Right.
And I think that's a horrible thing, but that's the day and age that we're living in where people are not looking to make that covenant before God that we're going to live together as husband and wife. And God is not going to honor couples living together outside of wedlock. He wants you to be married. He wants you to do it the right way. And the fact is you have to marry the right person because it affects your peace and your priorities and your worship and your emotional health and all of those things. And sometimes if you marry the wrong person, it could actually adversely affect your relationship with God. And that's the last thing you do. What's the second thing, Robin?
Okay. Stop believing the lie. No good men, no good women. That's not true.
I've heard that before. You? We were talking to, there's just no good men out there anymore. And sadly, there might be some merit to that statement. And even the women, have gotten to the point that they're almost like alley cats. I hate to use that term, but that's true.
Okay.
And men are probably worse. I'll have to say that. But
And what's your name for them?
I don't know. Tomcats. How about that?
Whatever.
But there's some good men and good women out there. I promise you that. I know a bunch of them that are single, love the Lord Jesus Christ, and they'd be thrilled to find someone, to spend the rest of their life with. And they have great high standards and morals and values and all those things. So that's something that is a lie, an absolute lie. The devil wants you to believe that so he can get you to settle.
Right.
That's why. I mean, how many times have we seen a woman sadly wind up in divorce? She's married to an alcoholic, let's say, and it goes on for years and years, and she goes beyond the second mile. She's third, fourth, 50th, 100th mile walking alongside him, and it gets to the point she just absolutely can't take it anymore. And so they wind up getting a divorce, and we have seen that many times where a woman who will come out of that environment and turn around and marry another alcoholic.
Yep.
How often have we seen that?
Yeah, a lot. Same thing with abuse.
Yeah. No,
Which is even harder for me to understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. They don't feel good about themselves, and they feel like that's all that they merit is someone who treated them like the first spouse treated them, and that's not a good thing. A third thing is you may have to expand where you look. There are a lot of people that are single and are in smaller churches, and maybe there's not very many single people there, or maybe there's not any single people they're interested in.
That may be it.
That could possibly be it. So you could go to things like Christian conferences, or get involved in a volunteer organization. You could do that. What is something else you could do, Robin?
You could do faith-based online dating platforms. I don't really know anyone who's done that.
I do, and it's a little bit scary. Faith-based dating, online dating platforms and programs. I did hear a statistic that shocked me that about 60% of the men on Christian dating sites are actually married.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, it's horrible. And they're out there, checking out the market, so to speak. And that's not a good thing.
Maybe wives need to check that out often to see if their husband shows up on there.
Well, that happened a few years ago where there was that leak, and a lot of men got discovered on those things.
Well, they need to be.
I
Shame
forgot what
on
it's
them.
called. Yeah, it's terrible.
Shame on them.
So you might even get into a Bible study somewhere else, or Christian travel groups is a big deal.
Yeah.
There are Christians that get together and they go travel somewhere, sometimes just within the state or in the United States or out of the country somewhere else. And there's some community outreach ministries that you could possibly get involved in as well. You might just meet the person, the man or the woman of your dreams at one of those events. So, and let me say something important. There's nothing unspiritual about intentionality. There's nothing unspiritual about that. Hey, thanks for joining Ask Dr. E. We're so glad that you're here today. And make sure you tune in next Wednesday. There'll be another new video out. Remember to like and subscribe. You say, why do you say that? Because it pushes the algorithm up on the YouTube deal. I don't know exactly how that works. But actually, if you like, subscribe, and even make a comment in the comment section, that helps the algorithm go up. So they suggest our videos more often than those that don't get likes and comments and so forth. So help us out, help us get the word out. I think this is a great ministry, and I think it's helping a lot of people. And so I'm thankful for you, and I hope and pray that you have a great, great week. We love you very much. God bless you.
Bye.